Hi, everybody. It's me, Dani. I am a spiritual guide, energy healer, and manifesting and mindset coach. And obviously, the host of the Manifest It Sis podcast. I'm doing something different today. I'm going live to record. So I'm not going to chat, and I'm going to try and stay on topic and not go on all side conversations. So afterward, I will come on and respond to any comments and answer any questions. But today's episode is all about you for 2022 and embodying your 2.0. So if you are familiar with me, if you're familiar with the Manifest It Sis podcast or about the way I teach manifestation, you know that I talk about embodying your next level self now and bringing that next level of you into the present experience by embodying her, being her as best as you can, moment by moment. I have a podcast episode about this. It was one of the very first episodes, maybe episode 2 or 3. I don't know. I'll link it in the show notes for everyone who's listening on the podcast. And for everyone who is here live, I am going to find it and link it in the comments later. But I'd love for you to listen to that for context. But I basically just gave you a quick rundown of what 2.0 is. So when you hear me talking about your 2.0, you know who she is. She's that woman that you aspire to be. She's the one that's in your daydreams. She's the one you're thinking about when you're writing down those goals. That version of you who's doing the things, that's your 2.0. And my major tip when I talk about manifesting is to embody her asaptually so you get to what you want quicker. And I shouldn't say get to what you want because we're not going anywhere, right? We're always here now, but we are allowing into our lived experience the manifestations that our 2.0 already has. So once we, as a reminder to some who might be new from my past teachings, look, as soon as you want something, it's yours. And I'm not going to get into the quantum physics of this. You can listen to past episodes if you like. But what I will say is everything is now. And so is a version of you that is living out your desires. So let's bring them to this lived experience as soon as we want to. Okay. So with embodying your 2.0, this episode, I think I'm going to name it Embodying Your 2.0 for 2022, because I feel like, and I know you're going to feel like this too, there is a shift at the end of this year, despite what's going on with this panorama and Omarion out here making folks cough. Despite all of that, there is a shift. There is a palpable energy shift that is happening now. And we got this new year coming, which is, a ritual for us humans, right? To feel like the newness of the fresh year ahead. And then we have a new moon coming, which is surrounded by ritual, depending on who you talk to, who you hang out with. But this new energy that is being pushed with it, I'm sure a lot of stuff is going on cosmically. I am not an astrology person. I don't know all of that stuff, but I am certain there must be some cosmic-ish going on right now because this energy, it's heavy, it's serious. I'm not going to use the word heavy because I usually use that with a negative connotation. It is serious, and it feels like it's pushing us on the back with both hands to move forward. So, yeah. So today's episode, what I have for you here, I'm going to be completely honest. What I have for you here, I sat down to channel for my paid membership, Soul Shift Society. Shout out to my Soul Shift girls. And after I got the message down, it was immediately like just impressed on me that it had to be shared more widely. So not just for my little group. And I was going to just put it in my Facebook group, the free Facebook group, Manifest It Sis, come join us. But I think it's for everybody. So if you're listening to this, then it's for you. Please know that everything here that I'm going to share with you, I want you to take what resonates with you right now, do what you will with it, and then the things that don't resonate, I don't want you to turn off your mind to it. I just want you to gently set them aside for a minute, because you're going to up level and you might come around to the information again and see it with fresh eyes. I'm sure you have read a book, come back later, read it again, and it was like a whole new book. Or you've seen a movie when you were a kid and then you watch it as an adult and you're like, what the hell was I watching? So it's the same with information, and it's the same with various truths. So just keep that in mind, and lovingly know that this is for you. If you're here listening, it is for you. You are a part of the collective that this message was channeled for. And in between what was channeled, I'm going to like slip in some activities that you might want to try, some journal prompts you might want to try, and just some viewpoints you may want to mull around and see if it fits you. But you are on an ascension journey. No matter where you are in life right now, I don't care if you are running a $50 million business. I don't care if you just got out of homelessness. Like, you're always on an ascension journey. And one thing that is 1000% true is you're always going to be up leveling and healing if you allow yourself. So keep that in mind as I'm sharing all of this. Okay. So with this Embodying Your 2.0 for 2022 and beyond, let's be real, this is forever. The first thing that came through was let it come up. So what we tend to do as humans, but more specifically as women, and even more specifically as Black women, we tend to push aside these strong wounds, these major emotions, push them aside because we got shit to do, right? I can't worry about those past traumas. I got 4 mouths to feed. I'm late for work. Rent's due. Bada bing, bada boom. Like, there's always these things, external things that we have to put aside our issues for so that we can survive, so our kids can survive, so they can thrive, so we can make it through to the next day, right? And then eventually one day we'll go back and we'll figure out, we'll heal that past trauma and all them wounds and all that, right? Because we have these things that are so pressing right now in our lived reality. But they pop up for a reason. So you get triggered by XYZ thing for a reason. It means that it's ready to be looked at and healed through. And I'm using those air quote fingers for healed, because healed sounds final, like it's over. And it's not exactly over. It's just transmuted, integrated, and doesn't impact you emotionally anymore. But it's always there. A subtle like thread of it is always there, because it's part of your human story, this soul's version doing these things on earth. If I've lost you, I'm sorry, but if I haven't, I know you're with me. So let it come up. And what I mean by that is allow the emotion to rise. The trigger hits, you see something, somebody says something, and you feel a way. Let it hit without making it mean anything about you. So it's more like a noticing. So let the emotion come up. Your spouse says something raggedy to you and you feel a way, and then you kind of put it aside, push it down, because it's like you don't want to, start an argument, or you don't have time to deal with this right now because you got to go pick up the kids from wherever. What I want to encourage you to do is feel it, because you don't have to act on something just because you're feeling it. So when these memories come up, when the wounding presents itself, when the trigger hits and you feel that internal, right? Whichever direction that goes, it's coming up because it wants to be seen. And sometimes that's all it needs for the strength of that to kind of start to dissipate. Sometimes it just needs to be seen, named, just there, or loved, accepted, instead of pushed down, pushed aside. So I want to encourage you that when something hits, you just notice it without making it mean something about yourself, like, oh my God, I'm weak because I'm thinking about this now and it happened 10 years ago. Or, man, I'm a little bitch. I'm not over this yet. Damn, worse things happen to people. Like, why am I not over this yet? Don't do that to yourself. Just allow it to come up. Because what it does, even if you're not sitting down and journaling through all the emotions of it, if you are just allowing it to be kind of separate from you, you create energetic space for your light to flow through. You create energetic space for the energies and emotions and feelings that you actually want to flow through. So if I am letting this wound of this thing that happened to me when I was 12 come up, and I'm looking at it like, okay, that thing happened. I'm not happy about it happening, but it's there, and I name it and I see it and I let it be. I don't have to go and talk about it in therapy. I don't have to go and like journal about it for hours. I can just let it be. And it can be like, oh, okay, I've been heard. Let me put myself over there for a while, and it won't pop up and attack you again the same way it did before. Am I making sense? I'm making sense. If it didn't make sense, go listen to it again. Come back to me. But an option that you do have is to journal through it when it pops up, talk through it when it pops up. But I'm just saying that it isn't necessary all the time for every bit of wounding. It could be how you process. I was very big in journaling in my healing journey, and my healing journey is still going. And I think everyone's healing journey always just continues, but it just starts to look different as you get better at it, as you get more embodied in who you're trying to be and continue to be on your up level. Okay, so let it come up was the big, that was a long explanation because I just wanted to tell you to let it come up. Don't squash it back down. The more we squash it down, the more it goes into our body. We get aches and pains. We can't touch our toes anymore. Our hips hurt. Our neck and shoulders hurt. So let it come through. Okay, so yeah, the next point with embodying this 2.0, all that 1.0 energy, you're letting it come up. You're not letting it mean anything about you. You're not embedding yourself in the story of it and bringing yourself to a heightened state of anger or sorrow or whatever because you're thinking about it. You're just letting it be. And then what you're going to focus on is holding the frequency of who you want to be. So when I take my one-on-one clients through their manifesting process, I teach them that it's kind of a ongoing loop of healing, connecting, and manifesting. And the healing always happens, the manifesting always happens, and the connecting is always happening as well. So it's like three circles running parallel to each other. It's not like I must heal all my wounds so that I can connect to my intuition and then I can start to manifest. No. And if people are telling you got to heal all your shit before you can get what you want, run, because that's not how it goes. When we think quantumly, like should I go into that in this podcast? I'm just going to go back to the tip. I was always almost about to run off on a tangent, but we're not. I'm going to stay right here with my notes. Hold the frequency. So when I say frequency, we know that everything is energy. We know that energy is always moving and at different frequency, speeds, densities. So the energy, frequency, speed, density that you are at, if right now you are 1.0, it's a whole different frequency at your 2.0. Okay? 2.0 might have better habits. 2.0 might be more diligent at business. 2.0 might be waking up earlier, drinking more water, working out, meditating, having some type of spiritual practice, some type of ritual. 2.0 might be speaking up for herself at the office, setting boundaries and honoring those boundaries. 2.0 is she's acting right in whatever way that means for you. So I want you to hold that frequency. And how I suggest you do it is close your eyes, take a few deep breaths and get yourself centered. Bring your awareness into your heart. Take a few deep breaths to continue calming yourself. And then picture 2.0. What is she wearing? How is her hair styled? What room is she in? What house is she in? What state is she in? What country is she in? How is she feeling? How does her body look? How does her body feel? Can she touch her toes? Can she do a handstand? I don't know. Hold the frequency of her. Run through a day. She wakes up. What time? What does she do as soon as she wakes up? Does she run to the bathroom and pee? Or does she sit up and meditate, journal? Or does she open her eyes and reach straight for her phone and go on Instagram? What does she do? What does she eat for breakfast? Does she eat breakfast? Is it on the road on the way to work? Is it leisurely on her patio overlooking the pond? Is it with her man in bed? I don't know her life. Then what does she do? And then what does she do? And then what does she do? So run through her whole day, just any random day in 2.0's life. Run through it and embody the feeling as your eyes are closed, you're sitting there. Embody those feelings. How does she feel when she wakes up? Well rested? Excited from a really cool dream she had? How does she feel when she's eating breakfast? Relaxed? Excited about the project she's going to work on that day? Is she stressed out because she has to go to work? Is she hopeful? Whatever the energy is around her, hold it during this visualization. Feel it and allow it to spread through your body. As it spreads through your body, you might notice your hair stick up, your body feel tingly, your heart might speed up, your breathing might get a little more rapid, or it might get deeper. You might notice tingling on your head. You might notice feelings of just a strong desire in your heart, in your body, like, yes, I want this now. Just hold that frequency. And when you're ready, you can come back to the room, open your eyes, and keep that frequency on you. And make the next decision that you make in your day, in your waking life, a decision that 2.0 would have made. What is she having for lunch? What is she doing after she listens to this podcast? So just embody her now. What is she doing while she listens to this podcast? You can embody her whenever you're ready to. It just takes a decision. One of the things I wrote down for when I was channeling outside of holding the frequency was that there's so much more and we're required to go all in. So I wrote already yours / there's so much more / dream much bigger. And then underneath that, I wrote go all in. And what comes to me when I look at the go all in is really taking those action steps that move you forward towards the life that you desire, and not just talking about it, not just saying it, right? We've said it so many times. Though my clients, I tend to ask people when we first start working together, I ask them about their goals, and I ask them how long they've had that goal, and I ask them how many times they've written that goal down so that we can get to the core of, yeah, you've been having this goal for a minute, but you're not taking any of the actions to get there. So like, what's the real deal, right? Around that, I want to suggest to you is if you notice that you are someone who writes down the same goal year after year or month after month, whatever. First of all, kudos to you for writing down goals. Can we just step back real quick and just say, kudos to you for writing down goals. Majority of the world does not think about their goals. They're going on autopilot. So you already are setting yourself apart from success versus non-success, right? And then actually writing it down. I think I might mess up this percentage, but I think it's like 40% of people, if you're 40% more likely to achieve a goal if it's written down. I might be fucking up that number, but read Goals by Brian Tracy. It's the best book ever. Anyway, then writing it down over and over and reading it over and over, it takes that percentage even higher to the likelihood of you achieving that goal. So kudos to you for writing down the goals. But now let's actually be about it instead of just talking about it and writing it down. Underneath the writing it over and over and not taking action on it is fear. And that's what we have to like drill down to. And really it's your choice because there's so much more for you. You're required to go all in. We say all the time that, you might have heard this, that we aren't human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I would like to add on to that sentiment that yes, we are eternal spirit beings temporarily housed in these vehicles to have a human experience. So let's give our spirit selves the dopest human experience possible. Taste all the things, go all the places, try all the things, do all the things. Set the goal, crush it. Set a new goal, crush that one. Keep leveling up. Like, we're here for that. If we're going to really embody the fact that we are spirits entertaining physical life and like enjoying physical things, then let's enjoy it all the way. Let's be the creators that we're here to be. You know you're here to be a creator. And this is outside of any type of religious or spiritual leanings you may have. So if the word creator is triggering for you, choose another one, sis. The point is, we're here to make this what we want it to be. And if we are spiritual beings having a human experience, let's let the human experience be dope as fuck. How do we do that? We choose to. There's so much more for us here. And you already know there's so much more for you here because you keep writing the shit down and then not doing it. So let's not write the shit down and not do it. Let's go all in. And that's an activity for you, for your journal. I want you to write on the top of it, I'm going all in, and then write down the different areas of your life and write down for each of those areas what going all in looks like. What does that look like for you? Going all in your fitness, what does that mean? What are you eating? What are you drinking? How are you working out? What's your workout plan? Workout partner? You going to the gym? You working out at home? You running? What you doing? Going all in at your day job. What does that mean? You're getting there early. You're being nice to the newcomers. You're helping train people. Like, I don't know, your life. What is it? Think about it in all the different areas. Going all in your parenting, in your giving, in your volunteering, in your spiritual life. What does that look like? Think of all the areas in your life. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Choose the life areas that you care about and write down what going all in looks like. Then I want you to think about 2.0. When you read that list over, is that your 2.0? Is that going all in list the same as who your 2.0 vision is? It should be very similar. And if it's not, let's tweak it to make it look very similar and start being that, start living that as best you can today. Yeah, your 2.0 might be living in a big old mansion with a fancy car in the driveway, and you're in a 1-bedroom apartment with nothing in the driveway, with no driveway. But what can you do? What aspects of that version of you can you embody today? Do those things. You have to go from just saying it to living it, even if it's in a little tiny step. Don't let those little tiny steps, because they're tiny, fool you into thinking that they don't matter. Don't let these tiny steps fool you into thinking that you should hold off and wait for a big step. Because it's those tiny little steps forward every single day that get you from 1.0 to 2.0 and then 2.0 to 3.0. You have to like choose daily. People ask about, I sidebar, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, sidebar. People ask me about being with my husband for 20 years, 20 long, hard years. No. And when people ask like, oh, what's the secret? What's the secret? And I'm thinking, communication, not really, because we fight. Like, what's the real thing? And I think it's every day we choose, like, we're going to have a dope marriage. We choose each other every day. And I've seen that sentiment said in similar ways from other long-lasting couples. And that sentiment also is with the relationship between you and your 2.0. You have to choose her every day. With any journey, your fitness journey, you got to choose to work out every day, eat right every day. Your skincare journey, you got to choose to put on those goddamn serums every day and wait for them to work. You know, you have to choose it. So I want you to choose to trust yourself. I want you to choose to forgive yourself for not choosing yourself over and over and over. That's a word. Because we hold on to that almost resentment of ourselves because, oh, I should have been farther along by now. Man, I wrote that down last year. I was going to lose 50 pounds. I didn't lose the 50 points. Damn. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. No. So let's choose to forgive ourselves for not choosing ourselves in the past. Let's let that just be over there. We're not going to make it mean anything about ourselves. We're not going to get wrapped up in the story of it. We're just going to choose fresh eyes, new eyes going forward towards 2022. We're going to honor ourselves. We're going to choose ourselves. We're going to decide and then take action on the shit that we say that we want. And we've been saying that we want it over and over and over. Okay? So we're going to hold the frequency of that 2.0. We're going to go all in. And now that we've written it out, you know what going all in looks like. And the next step would be to breaking it down into what can I do today? Break it down into smaller and smaller pieces until there's an action step that you take today that leads you to that bigger goal. One of the things that I wrote down was that your future is going to require everything you've got. And it's really true. It's going to require you to be at your capacity. And what happens is that you recognize that you have more capacity than you thought. And your capacity bucket just gets bigger and bigger, and you're recognizing that you're doing more and more things, and it feels natural to you because that's what you're here for, to expand, ascend, up level. But it feels like normal. And people are going to be like, oh my God, how do you do all those things? And you're just going to be like, child, I don't know, I just do it. Because it's nothing to you. It's just who you are, how you be, you know? So a couple exercises I want to share with you guys. For now, I feel like everyone is so open and receptive to these activities now. So I want to throw a bunch at you, and you can choose the ones that feel resonant for you. For all of my SSS girls, this is required homework for you. You got to do these, okay? And I'll share it in the SSS group for you. But the first is to choose a word. And I know, everyone and their mama chooses a freaking word of the year, and then they forget it by February. But who cares? Who cares? If you forget it by February, oh wells. Put a note in your phone for February 1st to pick a new word or remind yourself of the word. But I want you to pick a word, and I want you to pick a word to kind of guide you for the year. But then I also want you to pick a word that you are like a feeling word on how you want the year to feel for you. And remember, there are no rules. So if you do want to choose a new word each month, you can. Hell, if you want to choose a focused word for the week, you can. Like, who says you can? Don't let these arbitrary things mess with you. We're already letting the arbitrary year be a guide for us, right? And it's fun and it's okay. So we can do it or we can release it. It's your choice. So choose a word, and I want you to journal around this. What do I really want? And if you know me, you know I teach on how to find what you really want with my 4-column exercise. So you can find that in the Manifest It Sis Facebook group. I think I might have taught it in a past podcast episode, but I forget. So if I find it, I'll put it in the show notes, and I'll put it beneath this video for everyone who's watching on live. So, and also how you want to feel, how you want it to feel. So what I want and how do I want that to feel? I want you to journal on that. And for those of you who are triggered when I say journal, or are just like, ooh, I'm bad at journaling, or, ooh, I should journal, but I don't. Well, guess what? It doesn't have to be a big ordeal. It doesn't have to be like a, dear diary, today is the 1st of June. Like, it can just be sentence fragments, thoughts, random words, doodles, like anything. The point is to get the energy from within you out. So you're creating energetic space for your light to flow within you. This year is all about alignment, and I feel like so many people are starting to come into theirs. I want you to too. 2020 was a year of a lot of awakening. So many people turned on their light bulbs in 2020. And in 2021, it feels like it wasn't the same amount of people but it feels like less people awakened, but they awakened in a more powerful way, if that makes sense. And it feels like there are several leaders, both like out in the world and in the online space, that are starting to turn on their lights too. And it's beautiful to see. So yeah, where am I sharing that? Oh yeah, because you are too. You might have already had an awakening, and guess what? You're having another. And in 2022, especially in the first quarter of 2022, you're going to have some profound experiences around your awakening. If you need support throughout your awakening, please reach out to me. I am here. I love coaching people through the weirdness that comes from awakening, the weirdness that comes from like stepping into your spiritual truth, especially if it looks different than the spiritual truths that you were raised and indoctrinated in when you were younger. Okay, so back to the journal prompts. What did I write? Oh, so adding on to the how do I want it to feel, like what do I really want? How do I want it to feel? The next is how do I want blank to look? So you could put life and just do a whole general, how do I want my life to look? So we had feel and now also look. But you can also break it down to how do I want my biz to look? How do I want my body to look? How do I want my kids' rooms to look? That's on my mind because their rooms are fucked up right now. So I gotta go help them clean up. How do I want the launch of my program to look? You know, it can get granular. How do I want my employees to look? I don't mean physically, like how many, what are they doing? What are they getting paid? How are they operating? What do I want blank to look like? Okay, so give yourself time and do that. And remember, you can start these prompts and then allow yourself time to go be free, go out in nature, drink some water, move your body, play with your kids, whatever, and then come back to it again. Like this doesn't have to be done in one setting. Like, you know, it's not homework due tomorrow. This is for you. This is you giving you a gift, the gift of clarity, the gift of focus, the gift of alignment, the gift of being the version of yourself you've said you wanted to be for so fucking long. So another thing that I like to do, I like doing this periodically. I think I might do this exercise a few times a year. It's the if I already had. So think about a major goal that you have for yourself and ask yourself, if I already had blank, who would I be? How would I speak? How would I act? Who would I hang out with? What would I believe? How would I feel about myself? What would I be doing right now if I already had blank? What would I be wearing? This is another way to get to your vision of your 2.0 so that you can embody that version. So if the other way of thinking about it wasn't for you, this is another way to get at it on the back end. You already have it. What does that look like? You're already making, you know, your $50,000 months in your business. What does that look like? What would you be doing right now? What does that mean that you believe about yourself, about the world, about your business, about your capacity? Who would you be? How would you act? All those questions, if you already had it. All those answers that you write down there is what 2.0 is for you. And you can start anywhere on that list to start embodying that person. The great thing about embodying your 2.0 is that you magnetize, you allow in through your beingness, you allow in the desire into this lived reality. It's almost like magic. Everything already exists in the quantum. You embodying your 2.0 is you getting into coherence with what you want. Another activity to write down, and I did this in my free group on Facebook. This is the year that So 2022 is the year that I blank. So if you are someone who's like, oh, I don't know how to set goals, I don't know what I want. Here's one way to kind of get around that. Let's see. 2022 is the year that I learn how to corn braid my daughter's hair. Like that is really on my list because I kind of started learning last year and then I let it slide. So that's actually one on my list. But this can be big things or little things, obviously. But I want you to take a little time to think about this is the year that and I want you to stay focused on how you feel about doing these activities, because this time of year, it's always chock full of people who are like, oh, resolutions don't work. Oh, here comes everyone in the gym for January and they'll be gone by February. And you know what? It's true. It's absolutely true. Everyone sets these goals, these intentions, these resolutions, and they don't follow through. People say they're going to change their body. They're in the gym for a few weeks. They don't follow through. That said, they're ahead of the game of the people who didn't try at all. So there's that. We can give people their big ups for their attempts. And it doesn't matter if you have failed 76.9 times. Try again. Like, are you dead? No? Okay, so try again. And I want you to stay focused and ignore all the posts and complainers and social media memes and family members and whoever's coworkers who are out there saying, oh my God, new year, new me again. You know, why even allow that energy into your world? I want you to think about this being the year that you blank and go for it. And I want to suggest that if you are someone who has written goals over and over and then not hit them, but you've taken action, but you haven't hit them, I think that shifting the way you're looking at them might help you attain them this year. Shifting from, for example, if your goal is to like make XYZ amount in your business and you're not hitting it, but you're making moves in your business, but you're not really getting there, it might not be enough of a oomph, especially if you've seen it written down over and over. I'm going to hit, 500,000 this year, or I'm going to hit 6 figures this year, or whatever the thing is that you consistently haven't been able to hit despite efforting. Change how you're looking at it. So instead of I'm going to hit 100,000 this year, what you'd say is what that gives you. What does that look like in real time? So how would you celebrate hitting the $100,000 mark? Maybe you love travel, and travel is a thing that really motivates you. So now you're thinking like, ooh, I'm going to get whatever amount a month and take a vacation, and let that vacation be the thing that pulls you forward if seeing that dollar amount doesn't. Or if the goal is to lose X amount of weight and you've been trying, you're kind of on your grind, but you need to push in order to hit it, think about what you do after. Think about you on the beach in the bikini or whatever the thing is that you're, or you doing the headstand or the muscle up or whatever it is that your goal is that you're not actually writing down. That is in tandem with the goal you've written. Maybe tweak your goals to not say, oh, I'm going to make this much in business, but I'm going to give this much to charity. And in order for you to give that much to charity at the end of the year, you got to hit a certain amount, right? So just a thought, a little tweak. Sometimes these little tweaks help different people's brains operate in different ways, Okay. And another way to get to that is, what does blank mean for me? So what does losing the 50 pounds mean for you? It means I can run around with my kids without getting winded. I can wear these little booty shorts and stunt on these hoes. I can do a cartwheel outside, like whatever the thing is. Okay. 2 more little things. One, and this is kind of a digging up to release, is what am I holding back? All of the things that you already wrote out are things that you are going for and different ways of getting you to the place of what you're going towards. But since this is going to require you going all in, since this is going to require so much of yourself and require you to be at capacity for your 2.0-ness, what are you holding back? What have you been holding back due to fear that has stopped you from getting there now? Let's just address it right here. What am I holding back? Maybe I am chilling and watching TV at night instead of making Facebook ads. I don't know. Or maybe I am going and working out, but I'm just taking classes. I'm not lifting weights. Maybe I'm just doing yoga, but I'm not doing cardio or training and burning calories to lose the weight. Whatever it is. I'm not really good today at making examples, as you can see, but the sentiment is there, y'all. So what are you holding back? And will I allow myself to do these things despite the fear? So if you're working hard at the gym, but your eating is not on point, and you're just eating junk and saying, well, I'm working out. Am I willing to work out and eat right despite the fears that are around this? We're going to have another episode where we go into some of the fears and how to work around them. But for now, I really want you to just get really clear on who your 2.0 is and hold the frequency of that version of yourself as much as you can. Choose it moment by moment. You have to choose who you're going to be moment by moment. Nobody's going to choose it for you, sis. Let's just real talk. I love you. Nobody's going to choose it for you. Nobody's coming to save you. No one is going to be like, come on, be your 2.0, be your 2.0. You can do it. I mean, unless you hire a coach, right? Depending on the kind of coach you hire. No one's going to be like pulling you into your 2.0-ness because they're working on getting to their 2.0-ness. So you have to choose moment by moment to be committed to your fucking self. And I know that you have the ability, the capacity, the capability. You know that you are here for more. If you are listening to this and if you are writing down these motherfucking tips, there is a part of you that recognizes the truth in these words. There is a part of you that knows, damn, I've been fucking up, man. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Fuck the shoulda, coulda, woulda. There's a part of you that knows you are made for more, and now you're ready to stop pussyfooting around and get to it. Bet on yourself. Trust in yourself. And you're going to fuck up. Let me just be real clear. The line is not going to go straight like this. It's going to be a bumpy road. There's going to be ebbs and flows. You are going to fuck up. But you'll be fucking up in your 2.0. How does she handle setbacks? What does she do when she fucks up? Right? So come from that space. Does she wallow? Does she quit and say, oh, maybe the first of the month I'll try again? Or does she say, it's okay, I still love myself, look at herself in the mirror, say, bitch, you got this, and then go try again? What does your 2.0 do? The last tip is to introduce yourself. This is a journaling prompt, So just introduce yourself as 2.0. So write it out as if you're introducing yourself to someone. Write it in the journal like, hi, my name is Dani Faust. I am a whatever it is that you want to be. I spend my days doing XYZ. My weekends are usually spent doing XYZ. Just introduce yourself. And you can play with this and see what feels right, especially if you're someone who's multi-passionate and don't know really what you want to do and you feel like that slows you down with your growth or slows you down with your goal setting and planning. Write down a few introductions and see which one feels right. And then try being that version of 2.0. Here's the good news. Y'all ready? And if you listen to my podcast, you've heard me say this a million times. Your life is eternally editable. You can change your mind whenever you want. Okay? So if you try one of these 2.0 introductions and you're like, this is the one I want to focus on. Yeah. And then down the line, you're like, you know what? I feel more fulfilled if XYZ. Then you can shift. You can rewrite your story. You can Control Alt delete that paragraph and type in a new one. But you have to do something. And you know you have to do something. You know you're at a tipping point. That's what this energy is bringing up for you. Going back to the beginning of this episode, the energy that is coming up, this pushing forward energy, this shift, this palpable shift is here shouting in your ear, bitch, you can't stay like this no more. You got to move up and out. You've got to shift. You've got to uplevel. You've got to ascend. You've got to give your spirit the most full, profound, amazing human experience that you can muster. That's what you're here for. You know this. And I say that all with love. I say that all with love. So thank you so much for listening. For those who are watching live, bye, I love you. And I'll talk to you in a week. Thanks for listening. Bye.